Welcome back to more lore of Nikke Goddess of Victory. This is a series designed for both veterans and newcomers, where I blaze through the main story while Dai-chan takes over with analysis and spoilers. In this entry, we have one main goal: to get us all prepared for the Old Tales event. This means we'll be looking at story chapters 29 and 30 of the Crystal Region arc. I'm writing this script alongside the Star Anise event and brand new story chapters, so I may have Dai-chan talk about those in her section. I can't wait to cover them in the main segment. For that though, we'll need to catch up, so let's do it. Last we left off, the Commander and Counters have expanded their reclamation of the surface to a mysterious crystal region. These plant-like crystals feed off electricity, draining anything they come in contact with. They seem to have been planted deliberately, but we don't know why. Our only lead seems to be a masked woman with killer abs who's carrying around a girl in suspended animation. In pursuit of her, we discovered an especially giant crystal. Our new allies, Hammering, Liverin, and Eleg, wind up caught in the crystal as it descends a massive elevator shaft. Just what the hell is this place? Regardless, we have to rescue our friends. As a fun fact someone reminded me of in the comments, the Commander and Eleg are pretending it's their first time meeting, as part of Electric Shock's attempt to lay low. Even if it's just an open secret, it's better than nothing. Chapter 29 starts at the elevator. It appears to be one part of an L-shaped transport mechanism meant to bring the large crystal cluster deeper in once it's gathered enough electricity from the surface. Eleg and Liverin got stuck inside the crystal while trying to reach for the transport's brake lever. Now they've got their asses hanging out, and Hammering is caught along for the ride. Fortunately, when the crystal cluster reaches the end of the line, parts of it break off, releasing the Nikkes from its hold. All this ruckus summons raptures, forcing Eleg, Liverin, and Hammering to flee. As they do, Eleg cleverly leaves behind a digital screen with Boom installed on it. The raptures chase them into some more caverns, where they encounter Grave again. Even though she's on the defensive, Grave is willing to leave them be after they confess to being lost. However, that changes when Liverin takes a photo of Grave, and the snapshot sound on her phone plays for everyone to hear. Apparently, Grave is trying to remain hidden, and refuses to tolerate being in any pictures. To protect her secrecy, Grave attacks the Nikkes, and Hammering rushes in to buy the others time to escape. Their battle causes a cave-in, separating everyone into different areas. Eleg, all on her own, lays down another Boom screen as a rescue beacon. Considering these Nikkes were supposed to be our backup for the Crystal Region, going further in without them would be dangerous. Thus, the Commander and Counters return to Reclamation Site 01. After reporting to the Ark, we hope to regroup and launch our rescue mission. The central government suspects the elevator we found is the work of a heretic and authorizes both Absolute and Matisse for an assault. While that would be awesome, it seems those squads are currently tied up with other jobs. Nonetheless, we still need to form a rescue team as quickly as possible, so Shifty reaches out to Hammering, Liverin, and Eleg's respective squads for aid. Thus, our new allies are Trony of Electric Squad, Fragile from Pathfinder, and Drilly from Hammer and Drill. That last squad isn't very creative with its names. Drilly's cute though, and I appreciate the jiggle animation. I've spoken at length about Trony, and yet again, the Commander pretends this is our first outing. The other two are still stuck in NPC jail, and we'll learn about them going forward. It should go without saying that Trony is intimidated by field missions like this, and volunteers to stay behind and provide support. Even though we've already got Shifty for that, we agree it's better for Trony to support us from afar, rather than be a liability on the front lines. Fragile also makes a request to have her inhibitor turned off. This would allow her to open fire on other Nikkes. She wants the freedom to act in case any of them get compromised by crystals. Since her reasoning is solid, the Commander approves, not realizing she has an ulterior motive. Drillies come prepared with grappling and climbing gear, and it helps us descend the elevator shaft. She's pissed we abandoned her partner, but Neon comes to our defense, clarifying that Hammering deliberately tried to save us. Since she's got a tracking device, we're more than eager to return the favor. After resolving our grievances, we follow the tracker and locate the crystal cluster they fell with. Eleg's boom screen gives us hope they're safe. Further in, after using a rapture fight to announce our presence, we reunite with Elig. We ask her to bring us where she last saw the others, and along the way, the commander notices how tattered Fragile's clothes are. Liverin said their profession required brand name attire, so why weren't Fragiles of the same quality? If you ask me, I can't actually see a difference, but I'll take their word for it. This is just another suspicious thing we notice about Liverin. Near our destination, we find Grave being sandwiched between her coffin and some crystal rubble. We want to save her, but she still doesn't trust us. Thus, the commander orders his Nikkes to clear the debris instead. We insist we mean her no harm, and promise to delete any photos that were taken of her in exchange for help finding our lost allies. Grave actually shows us gratitude, pointing us to where Hammering went. Apparently, after causing the cave-in, Hammering promised she'd come back to help Grave, but hasn't returned. Out of earshot, the commander deduces with his squad that Grave's coffin must be a medical device, a cryogenic storage chamber of some kind. Ever since we found that big crystal cluster, we've noticed it sending electricity through lines in the ground. We suspect there's something even larger that these crystals are all sending their energy to. As we follow the power lines, we traverse through a crystalline room where another parasite rapture attacks us. We decide to call this monstrosity a crystal chamber. The ground here is unstable, so Drilly pushes the chamber back with her rocket-powered drills. Neon loves calling them Giga Drills, because of course she does. Perhaps Drilly should aim for the heavens. Once the rapture is dead, Fragile announces her concern that Liverin must desperately need Grave's photo for something, but doesn't answer what for. Chapter 30 starts off having us follow the power lines to a floating harmony cube. You don't really see these things mentioned in the story mode that often, and they first made their debut as a game mechanic, an accessory you can assign Nikkes to for buffs and stat upgrades. In terms of lore, harmony cubes were used in the Ark's construction, running all the necessary computations. It's almost like they can generate entire cities and structures. No doubt this tech came from the VTC. This particular harmony cube is constructing a foundation of glass, preventing the crystals from reaching it. Still, all the electricity absorbed by the crystals is being channeled into the cube. Most concerning is that this cube wasn't put here by humanity. Someone else is trying to have it build their own Ark. So far, it's not complete, though. It has generated some buildings, but they're pure white and made of glass. Beside one of these buildings, we find Liverin. Fragile immediately starts interrogating her. This reveals that the two of them worked as delivery drivers until robots took over the market. Sick of their only remaining clients being rich creeps who hit on them, Liverin started looking for work in the underworld and came under the employment of Sixo, the Ark's most notorious criminal. People suspect that Sixo is a woman, but nobody can actually verify her identity, as she's always working from the shadows. She's got her hands in all of the Outer Rim's terrorist ops, and is considered the master of the dark net, where illicit items are sold. Under Sixo, Liverin found work as an underworld transporter, delivering illegal packages to unconventional destinations, making them harder to trace. She only intended to do this for a while, but found the money was too good to pass up. Fragile's sister was also in on this dangerous line of work, and was tragically killed on the job. This prompted Liverin to quit. Out of respect for the dead, she and Fragile vowed that if either of them ever got involved with Sixo again, they'd both commit suicide. Turns out, this is why Fragile wanted her inhibitor removed. She opens fire on Liverin until Rapi tackles her to the ground. Everyone takes a moment to calm down, during which Liverin confesses that Sixo is threatening to expose her crimes to Ingrid, which will lead to her getting a memory wipe. Afraid of atoning for her past and not wanting anyone else involved, she's allowed herself to do Sixo's bidding again. Specifically, Sixo is demanding that she return from the surface with something nobody has ever seen before. This is why she's been so desperate to keep going despite the danger. Even so, the commander won't let her keep the photo she took of Grave. Luckily, she deletes it voluntarily after we offer to find something else she can take back. Fragile accepts this arrangement, but swears she'll kill herself if she finds out that any part of Liverin actually wants to be in this situation. As for Hammering, she was last seen in this area searching for a crowbar to help Grave, but hasn't returned. Thus, we decide to backtrack to the crystalline room where that crystal chamber enemy attacked us. Upon further observation, it seems someone's been putting both Rapture and Nikke body parts here in an effort to breed more crystal monsters. Drilly fears Hammering may have been swallowed up by the crystals here and begins digging her way through. As she does, we learn more about her squad. She and Hammering are miners by trade, and they always had the opportunity to pocket their findings. Hammering was honest though, and never stooped to swiping any loot. Drilly admires Hammering's selflessness, kindness, and moral fortitude. It would be unfair for someone like that to die out here trying to help mankind. Mid-excavation, Grave rushes into the room and fires her gun near the commander. This shatters the floor beneath him, sending both he and Rapi falling to a cavern below. There, Grave asserts she was trying to save the commander, as crystals on the floor were trying to bore into his shoes. Sure enough, they confirm she's not lying. We really were in danger. Grave has a hard time expressing her thoughts, phrasing things in broken, abstract ways. One thing is clear though, she considers humans inherently evil. She admits that, in the past, she was experimented on, tortured, and electrocuted by humans before she escaped with her coffin. Humans betrayed her, so she calls anyone who's her enemy a human. Fortunately, by that logic, she no longer considers the commander human and wants to help us reunite with our friends as thanks for saving her. However, everything goes to shit when she opens her coffin to grab some medicine. Rapi steals a peek inside and finds the Nikke Cinderella resting within. Of course, Rapi sees her as the heretic Enichiro, and stating this invokes Grave's wrath. Their misunderstanding results in brutal combat. At first, Grave gets the upper hand, pinning Rapi beneath her massive gun. However, Rapi counterattacks by activating Red Hood again. Technically, she's not supposed to be able to do this anymore. The fact that she can implies that she's channeling this power all on her own. Seeing her transformation, Grave assumes Rapi must be disrespecting a fallen hero, not knowing the full context. Their feud gets interrupted when Anise and Neon catch up, forcing Grave to retreat. The good news is, while this all went down, Drilly was able to find Hammering. The bad news, though, is that crystals have devoured most of Hammering's body, to the point where she can barely move. We have the opportunity to head back to base, but she insists we go the extra mile and observe the Harmony Cube first. If any complications arise, she asks us to sever her head and take her home that way. Liverin suddenly wants to head back right now, which Fragile finds suspicious given they haven't found anything rare to take with them. Probing further, she discovers that Liverin is trying to smuggle some crystals in a glass bottle. Giving this to Sixo, let alone taking it to the Ark, would cause uncapped devastation. The Ark is filled with electronics these crystals would just devour. Exposed, Liverin tries to flee, but Fragile shoots her in the leg before crushing the bottle. As if things couldn't get any worse, the crystals inside of Hammering's body swell in size and start taking over. Before this can happen, Rapi leaps into the air and punches Hammering's head clean off. Nice save, though we still have to take her body down when it transforms into another crystal chamber. After the boss fight, the commander finally reactivates Fragile's inhibitor, which he should have done much earlier. Rapi carries the injured Liverin as we all head back to Reclamation Site 01. In the aftermath, we learn that Hammering's neck still has some crystals at the base that are slowly approaching her brain. This, unfortunately, means we can't preserve her head in a brain shelter. Instead, the military has set up a secret camp on the surface where Drilly can look after her. The central government declares the crystal region a major threat and is planning to eradicate it entirely. With their schedule now freed up, Absolute is going to be sent up to aid us on this new mission. Back at the Ark, Elig and Trony sulk over the fact that these crystals aren't safe enough to be used as a power source. Elig gets a suspicious text, but writes it off as spam. It's probably Sixo. Liverin has been arrested and taken to the Ark's detention center, while Enoch formulates a judgment for her. While in captivity, a phone slides into her cell. Sixo is texting her on the other end. Despite failing miserably, Sixo wants to give Liverin another chance and orchestrates an opportunity for her to escape prison. It's like clockwork. The doors unlock just as security is distracted. Liverin may not have brought any crystals back, but now Sixo's after something else. Hammering's head, and the crystals clinging to the base of her neck. I suppose I could have done this earlier, but next video should be the opportune time to cover the amazing Old Tales event. Now that we're familiar with both Grave and Cinderella, it's time to find out how they got in this situation. Is Grave really carrying around a heretic in that box? Find out next time, and stand by for Dai-chan's analysis.
Hi, Dai-chan here. There's honestly not a lot pertaining to these developments that I haven't already discussed before. We know about Liverin's dilemma with Sixo, and how Sixo wants the crystals to contaminate the Ark. The Harmony Cube sure is interesting, but I'm confident saying it's a product of VTC's ancient technology. The four beasts, born from dark matter, are attempting to construct their very own Ark. Behemoth is using the crystals, which she can control, to gather the energy needed to activate the Harmony Cube. Grave just so happens to find these crystals useful for hiding Cinderella. I suppose it's worth noting that Rapi's immediate hatred of Cinderella is a defensive mechanism she inherited from Red Hood. After all, last time those two met, they were trying to kill each other. The bulk of what I have to discuss are all the insane revelations made during chapters 45 and 46. I can't get too deep until we actually catch up, but here are some important facts we can now apply to the story going forward. When the United Forces of Humanity and VTC combined to make the central government, it seems VTC held much more sway and encouraged the bulk of the Ark's misdeeds. VTC played a major role in making sure the Goddess Squad would be arrested and/or executed if they entered the Ark. This has been confirmed to be a means of ensuring the goddesses would never steal power away from the government. The VTC was also responsible for grabbing Andersen's dying body and forcing him into a coma for years. He only got out of that situation because Arthur, Oswald's adopted son, broke him out. By that point, the VTC was really getting on the rest of the government's nerves. There was an internal power struggle, so it was rather convenient that Andersen had a bone to pick with them. Even though Andersen went on a John Wick murder spree, since he was eliminating political opponents, his actions got him promoted to Deputy Commander-in-Chief. Speaking of promotions, we're starting to get a bigger picture of what's going on at the top. We recently learned about the main Commander-in-Chief, who is apparently in some kind of frozen state, hooked up to a massive coffin. I'm not sure exactly how conscious he even is. This is what Snow Crane meant when she said he's still sacrificing himself for the good of humanity. Apparently, the other bigwigs in the Ark, strangely, don't seem to even care about its well-being. That's why all major decisions are occurring between Enoch, the deputy chiefs, and 3 CEOs. We've also got a better understanding of the Ark's power source. We already knew it was a giant rapture core, but now its true horrors are unveiled. It qualifies as a Generation 1 rapture core, which is back when the raptures obtained energy by literally eating things. Thus, for this core to keep running, it feeds off the Ark's corpses. When Nikkes are made, all that's really needed is the brain, so the rest of their body gets fed to the core. Strangely, there's no contraception in the Ark, so people make a lot of babies. Yet somehow, its population remains more or less the same. This heavily implies that people are being killed or deliberately born as core fuel. I can't speak to the exact arrangement, but it's pretty fucked up either way. Finding out about this sets an immediate precedent to reclaim the surface as quickly as possible. Andersen was fully aware that Dorothy returned to the Ark seeking revenge. He totally understood her anger and would have let himself get carried away helping her. Knowing how important the Ark is, though, he instead asked Birmingham to contact Dorothy. We now know that Birmingham grew up on stories of the Goddess Squad. Of course he recognized Dorothy, but almost couldn't believe she was the same person, given all her hatred. As such, he held back on telling her about Oswald and such until he could confirm Dorothy still had the heart of a goddess. By that, I mean he was hoping to see if Dorothy still cared about humanity. There's also the fact that Andersen feels guilty for not being there when the goddesses needed him most. By the time he understood what happened to them, they were already being called pilgrims up on the surface. With his damaged body, he had no means of seeking them out and wasn't comfortable risking other people's lives to contact them vicariously. For all these reasons, he sat back and focused his efforts on administrative duties, feeling he could best support the girls from afar. A lot of emotions were pulling on him. When he finally meets Dorothy after so long, you start to think this really should have happened much sooner. A lot of sadness and conflict could have been avoided. Then again, hindsight is 20/20. We've been given a closer look into Red Shoes, aka Mirror's motivations. From the beginning, we realized she was hell-bent on siding with the winner, whether it be humans or raptures. Choosing to support the queen, she made heretics, but later started to think the rapture queen was incompetent. Marian happens to be Mirror's backup plan to create a new queen, but that all changed the moment the queen took over Lilith's body, stole Marian's queen gene, and smacked the shit out of the pilgrims. With the power balance suddenly reversed, Mirror decides to join back up with the queen. I wouldn't be surprised if she flip-flops more as the fight goes on. You can't trust her, as her loyalty only lasts when one side of the conflict has a clear upper hand. There are so many more things I'd like to say, but hopefully this will do until Dai-kun reaches these chapters properly. I appreciate your support in this epic journey, and humbly ask that you consider signing up as a channel member. Until next time, celebrate your fandom!
I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters: Video Gamer 75, Dante Pendragon, Stephen Elak, Mystic Samurai 1983, Otaku Mom, Free Brick, Jugemu Unko, Lunar Works, Link Pendrago, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, Crow Kalem, Saul Soto, Major, Matal Mataru, Winter's Edge, Sneer Cachette, Thanathiel, Foxbox, Alzinga Fagan, Draco Chaotic, Caitlin P, Sith Lord 906, Vladimirovna, The Taz 96, Kengo X 77, Alistair Bernadotte, and Liamon 3. Thank you all so much.